This is episode 8.
9.
9.
Episode 9.
Welcome.
Hello, all. It's been a long time coming this week. We sent out the tweet saying we weren't recording Thursday, and I said Saturday, but it's actually Sunday.
So we got to watch the Leafs game.
We watched the Leafs game last night. Well, I did anyway. Jack didn't see most of it.
Yeah. Date night.
Yeah. Yeah. So, games we have to touch on. We got Utah from Sunday. I don't think you saw any of that game.
No.
I saw the third period. I was on my way back from Toronto, where the game was located. Florida, I watched the Florida game Wednesday night. I'm not sure if you saw any of that. I believe you were coming home
Yeah.
that night. You saw that game?
We were able to get it.
Okay. And then Tampa Bay last night, so Saturday night.
Oh, actually, I did see the third period of Utah.
You saw the third period of
Yeah.
Utah. Okay. So the Utah game, which was kind of status quo from what we've been for the past couple weeks, and we've
Playing solid.
been buzzing.
What was the score of that one? It was like 4-0.
I believe it ended. It was
Oh, no,
three.
they made a little bit of a
It
comeback at the
was
end.
3-2 final. So Utah scored a few at the end, which just seems to be just one at the end. Sorry, they were up 1-0, and then the Leafs scored 3 in the second, and then they scored 1 early in the third, and
Yeah.
kind of squeeze your butt cheeks a little bit. But
We do have the Red Wings Vancouver game on in the
yeah,
background,
we got the
too.
Wings Vancouver. Watch the end of that game, and then we got Boston Montreal coming up. So we'll have those games on in the background. More of the same in the Utah game. Marner and Nylander kind of leading the way. Tavares didn't get any points, but he had an assist. Sorry, but yeah, Marner 2 goals, Nylander goal and assist. The big guns without Matthews have been leading the way.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot more production from a lot more of the crew
Yeah,
with Matthews out. And I think we've touched on this like the
a
last
lot.
couple.
We've touched on it a lot, and credit where credit's due. Marner's playing really well.
You had who scored last night? Tanev. Tanev's actually
Tanev
gotten a
got one
couple of
last
points the
night.
last
Yeah.
couple games.
Utah, we can't really say much because we didn't really watch much of it. We
No.
only watched the third. It wasn't a fantastic period, but it was a better third period in that game than it was last night against Tampa. I can tell you that.
Do you want to go into it?
Well, we got Florida on Wednesday first. That was kind of a disaster.
That was a steamroll.
Yeah, that wasn't. It was a little ugly. It's probably Stolar's worst game for the Leafs.
Yeah. Literally the only highlight of that was you got the Honor Lawrence
Lawrence,
Stoli
OEL,
in
and Stolar's
OEL.
got their
Yeah.
cup rings. Yeah, that was cool to
That
see.
was that was about the only redeeming thing in terms of Maple Leafs
On the
players that
Toronto
game.
side, yeah, all the Florida big guns came to play. Barkov got one, Reinhardt got one, Verhaeghe got one, and Bennett got one, and Kachuk had a couple assists as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, they were not on it Wednesday night. They from the get go they looked horrible in the first. The Leafs,
Yeah.
terrible, and they got punished. Yeah, and then Marner
It's
got one
gonna
in the
happen every
second.
once in a while. Every
The
once in a while,
shorthanded goal, Reinhardt scored a shorty in the second. That was
every once in a while,
yeah.
you're gonna have a stinker.
It just seems like whenever we have a stinker this year, it's really bad.
Yeah.
Like we get pumped. Like there should
And
be games where like you're not playing well, but you're doing the right things and you're still in the game.
I mean, contrast it to Tampa last night,
Yeah,
where they came into the third period down
yeah.
4-0,
And they came out.
and they
Tampa
came out
came
and
out.
made it
Yeah,
competitive, and
exactly.
actually had,
Like the
one goal to
shots
tie it up.
in that Florida game were 24-24. Now, granted, watching it, I think that's misleading because the majority of our shots were from the outside.
Sure.
Nothing was really in tight where they had a lot more quality chances than we did. Bob, if you're not going to get quality chances on Bob, you're not going to score.
What's with Bob's helmet? Why is it purple?
I don't know.
Just doesn't go with the
I'm
rest.
sure there's a reason.
It doesn't go with the rest of the fit, and it just
No, it's a little strange, but
okay.
you know, who cares? I don't think who cares about the drip when you
These are
win
the
every game. Like,
any helmet looks good with a ring.
yeah, exactly. I don't think Bob's too concerned. He makes 10.5 sheets a year and wins the Stanley Cup, so
He's pretty happy.
I'd say he's doing all right. And Stolar's his return to Florida was not a success. The Tampa game last night,
Better. Up
horrible,
until the third.
horrible first 10 minutes. They were brutal in the first 10 minutes. They were not moving their feet. They got hemmed in their own end a lot. They they got one. They scored one. The nice tip, which was a really nice play.
I came
Uh,
in with, I think, 10 minutes left in the third.
yeah. So the first, Nylander takes it across the blue line, cuts back, kind of stops and cuts back to beat a man, and then finds Matthews in the corner. Matthews rounds the net, finds Tanev. Tanev throws a shot on net and Knies with a nice tip. It was the cleanest goal for sure. And after that goal went in, that was the Leafs' first shot, and it went in. And after that goal went in, they played a lot better for the second half of the first, and then in the second, they were buzzing in the second. Like you mentioned, Tanev finally gets one, first as a Leaf. Robertson, his second of the year. It was a nice short side shot.
He needed something
He
because
needs,
he's done
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
shit all.
You can't, you don't even hear his name.
No.
I don't even know he's in the
Every
lineup half
once
the
in a while,
time.
you'll see him like ring a shot that completely.
He has been a little unlucky. He's hit a couple posts this
Yeah.
year, but nothing like,
There's one that he absolutely wired off the
yeah,
post. I think that was Utah.
yeah. I think so. Yeah,
But
something like that. I don't know. I don't remember
it
for
was nice
sure,
seeing
but
that one.
yeah. And then Tavares gets the fourth one. Um, and Marner again was really good. It seems to be working. Marner and Tavares together
Yeah.
seems to work, and then Nylander and Matthews worked well last night. It's only been one game, but
Matthews picked up an assist,
I think he had two.
and he picked up the second assist on the empty netter.
I believe he had, yeah, yeah,
I don't know who else he used to say. Probably the
yeah,
nice goal.
the nice goal, yeah. So 4-0 going to the third, and then the third they come out very flat. It was pretty slow moving. I think you were there for the whole third, weren't you?
Say there for the whole
I
third.
think you were.
Um, they were okay, and then
It was just they're sitting back too much. You can't do that in hockey.
we
It doesn't
we
matter how big the lead is. You need to keep going.
we spoke about it where it's like when you're ahead and suddenly the other team starts making a comeback, you can't just sit in your own end.
Exactly.
You have to forecheck. You
You
have to
can't
apply pressure.
soak pressure in hockey. It's just not possible.
You're just gonna get run over.
Yeah. For long periods of time. Obviously, they pulled a goalie with 2 minutes left. Yeah, you might have to soak a little bit of pressure. But for a whole period, you can't do that.
They
It's just
pulled the
not
goalie with like
sustainable.
5 minutes left
There
because
was
they
5 minutes, yeah.
and then there was
They
that
got one.
pretty soft. Yeah, they got one
They got
regular
one to
shorthanded.
make it 4-1, and then with 5 minutes left, they pulled a goalie. It was 4-1. It was that one where Gensel threw it in front and it hit. I
Yeah,
believe it was Timmins' skate.
yeah.
McCabe took a shot to the head and didn't finish the game.
Any updates on him?
I didn't really hear anything yet. I doubt it long term
Yeah.
because it hit kind of hit the side,
Okay.
so it'd be the ear,
It's
but
more
it was more, yeah,
precautionary. Let's make sure everything's
yeah,
okay.
because when it happened, they were up big, so they probably just thought, let's just,
No point in
yeah, no, don't risk it tonight.
no.
And but usually in those situations, McCabe and Tanev is the pairing you want on the ice.
Yeah.
Riley and Timmins probably not who you want on the ice in that situation.
No.
Probably the last two defensemen you want on the ice, especially together.
Neither one's
Let
super
alone,
responsible
yeah,
defensively.
yeah, probably not the pairing you wanted on the ice there.
And then you had that soft penalty that OEL took with the
Yeah, that
cross
was a
check to
brutal
the
call.
cross
That was a
check.
brutal call.
So soft.
Terrible. First of all, it's not a penalty. But second, if you're gonna call it, you got to call the cross check the other way too.
Well, in OEL, he tapped him, whatever. Tapped him with a
It's
little bit
just
of a cross check.
it's just
No
a
one's
whatever.
denying that. It's just after the puck, like after the puck got frozen.
It happens on every
Looks
whistle. It's just a nothing
but the
contact here,
reaction was
contact back.
the
Like,
reaction
come
was
on.
three times the muscle that OEL
Yeah,
did. It just seemed bullshit. Either call none or call both.
yeah, exactly. And it's none.
And so then
Honestly, it's such a nothing. It's a nothing call
they got one off of that,
off
and
that
that's
power
what
play,
made
and it
it.
was really quick. It was like right away.
Was that the one that I forget his name, but Buddy wired it from the right side of the net?
Atkinson got that one.
It was a sick shot.
Um, yeah, that was like right away. And once they scored that, I was like, oh,
Here we
we're
go.
in for one here.
We're Leafs.
Because there was still over 2 minutes left when that went in.
Yeah.
So that's like, okay, they're going to pull the
Data
goalie
full.
again.
Yeah.
And they got two, and they had the empty net on that power play too. So it was 6-on-4.
Yeah.
So
You just felt it coming. You just felt the momentum being like sucked away.
Yeah, but then Nylander, a little calm and cool collective, gathers the puck at his own blue line,
Nice little shot.
threads it
But
down the ice
there's the
from his own
insurance
end, empty
policy.
net. Let's do it.
Thanks, Willie.
Well done. Yeah. And then Nyes and Matthews with the assists. So that line seemed to work. It's only been one game, but it seemed to work out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Matthews finally back last night. Nice to see.
Nice to see because
It's been it's been
regardless, it's been a good stretch, but
it's
it's
been like
still
three
been like
weeks.
that's a lot of talent tied up and just not on your
Yeah, not
bench.
playing, and it didn't when it first came through. It didn't sound like it was too serious,
No.
and then it kind of just dragged on. He went to Germany for a couple days to see some doctor, and everyone was like, "Okay, what the hell's going on here?"
And then the anticipation was okay, well, maybe Florida. And then when you didn't show up in Florida because that was the early whisperings, you're like, okay, well,
He made the trip. I think he came back from Germany, and they said it's possible he plays Utah on Sunday, but highly unlikely. More likely, he plays the trip in Florida. And if he's making the trip, there's a good chance he's going to play, right?
yeah.
So he ended up suiting up for the Tampa game. Last time we spoke, that was right after Nyes got blown up, and he missed the next two. So he was back last night as well. He missed the Utah and Florida games. So the Florida game, I can maybe excuse it a little bit because of the guys we have out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of injuries. The lines are, if you look at our you look at our bottom six, it's rough. It doesn't catch the eye.
Uh,
Let's put it that way.
Grabenkin,
Last night, the third line was
Lorentz,
Lorenz played center with Robertson, and because McMahon didn't play last night,
because he's out for a couple games.
he's out a few. The fourth line was Kampf in last night? Kampf is out too.
I don't think he was in.
Kampf is out too. Holmberg played on the second line with Tavares and Marner on the wing. Minton centered the third line.
He centered it?
Yeah, Minton centered the third line.
Okay.
And Lawrence was on the third line, and Robertson.
No, Lawrence is a winger. Or he played wing last night? Because he's a center, I think.
Well, he plays wing a lot in the fourth line because Kampf usually plays center. He can play center.
Oh, so he's just been subbing in.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a matter of who else we got here. Dewar centered the fourth line. Dewar centered the fourth line with Alex Nylander and Grabenkin, and that's a very
That's a
small. That's a
very
very
tough
small fourth
one.
line.
Okay, yeah, we spoke about
Yeah,
this.
it's a very tiny fourth line. Not exactly what you want, but it didn't seem to be an issue last night. But the Florida game, you could tell we got bullied a little bit. Florida and Boston kind of have our number, the big physical teams in recent years, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But it seems like we have Tampa's number. The two times we've played them this year
Ever since we took that series,
haven't been an issue. And that series 2 years ago, we finally won a series.
finally got some confidence
It it
and
it seems like we have Tampa's number. So, and we've been chasing Vasilevsky. Not only the one game, but he has not played well against us
no.
in the past couple of years,
No.
like at all. So
And he's still a great goalie.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's not like he's having a bad season. Yeah. So the funny thing on the weekend was that we were both in Toronto, and obviously there was Taylor Swift
everywhere.
concerts,
Swift was
and
all over. We watched the Christmas parade at my sister's
yeah, we
house.
watched the Christmas parade at Jack's sister's house. So Sunday night, which is strange because so my girlfriend and I went to a comedy show at Scotiabank on Saturday night, and the Swifties were kind of died down because the show had started by the time our show started, but it was still pretty jammed. It was pretty busy. But Sunday night, it was all done,
Yeah.
and that's the night that Utah took a bus to the arena, but the traffic was so bad that they got out and walked to the rink.
It was strange. So I was meeting up with some old friends with my girlfriend, and it was right beside Union and like right near Scotia
Yeah,
and Union Union Station for those who aren't from Toronto. But
you're not in the camera. You might want to move over a bit.
oh, Union Station. And they had roads shut down. Like it seemed bizarre.
For what? Like, what was so busy about it?
I don't know.
It's
There
because the
was no
Leaf
Sunday night Swifty.
there was no
There's
concert
no
that night.
concert.
Yeah,
I don't know why they had it shut down, but interesting.
just the Leafs draw more than
We
Taylor
couldn't have
Swift.
gotten like a couple
That's all we know.
golf
So
carts from the arena or something to get the bags. Like
what? Yeah, what did they do with the bags? Did they carry them? That would
they
be
must have
hilarious if they did.
that, or they got,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they did get some golf carts, but it just seemed like, really, like, why
It
is this
only
shut
happened to
down?
this team too, of course. When they were Arizona, they played in the college rink, and then now they got to walk to the rink. It's like no other franchise gets the treatment this franchise gets.
This poor hockey team.
Yeah, exactly. And they definitely played like it on Sunday. So
Yeah,
um, we've been talking about Marner a lot lately. He's on a heater. He's playing really well. You mentioned to me last night that something, and I saw that as well about him possibly getting 14 million on his next deal.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear a specific number. I heard that he wants more than Matthews.
The number, I forget who's reporting it, but it was basically like someone's reporting that he's expected to ask for in the neighborhood of 14 million.
Listen, pal,
On what planet?
you're asking
If
you're
you ask for
asking
that,
for what Nylander's asking for. That's what you're getting, that range.
and if you're asking for that, you're asking to be moved.
Yeah,
If that's the number you're gonna double down on and you're gonna hold firm on,
yeah.
you're saying you don't want to be a
You
Toronto
gotta
Maple
you
Leaf
gotta
anymore.
bite the bullet. And if Tree Living is willing to give you a slight raise, maybe like a million, I think you're taking that.
Because what's he at right now?
He's at just under 11.
So 12, 12 and a half? Sure.
Nylander makes 11 and a half. You're gonna tell me that he's better than Nylander?
No.
It's the same thing. They're the same level, except Nylander actually plays in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Marner.
He's been playing really well.
He's been playing really well, and I think he should make Team Canada. If you asked me in the summer, I would have said I don't think he should, but he's playing. He's played his way onto the team for me. Now, just because he's doing well in November, December, does not mean that suddenly when the playoffs come, he's going to magically turn it around.
When April, May, June
If
kind
he
of
does and he proves it, great. You're still not worth more than Austin Matthews though.
14 million seems insane.
That's fucked. That's like
That is an I don't
didn't
want to be
what
a
did
Toronto Maple
Drysaitel get?
Leaf.
I think Drysaitel got that.
Yeah.
You're not. Are you worth what Drysaitel's worth? Not in a
If
million
you say
years.
yes, you're delusional.
Yeah, not in a million years. Anyway, I didn't bring that up to shit on Marner. I just was trying to give him a little bit of praise because I
It's a little
usually
praise, but it's like let's keep it in the realm of like
and it could be
possible.
completely bullshit too. Like the it could be
Who knows? Like, yeah,
yeah
the
it could
legitimacy or
yeah you don't know.
credibility.
There's no like actually official report. It's just a rumor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Um, I if Marner genuinely believes that he should make more money than Austin Matthews, then I really don't know what to think. There are very few players in the NHL that should be making more money than Austin Matthews.
And frankly, if that's the number you're asking, because you're not getting it in Toronto, you're just not. If you
Tree's
get
not
that,
going to do that.
no. And if that's your number, there's no one who's going to be willing to pay you that. Who's going to be willing to pay Marner
Yeah,
14 million?
anyone that's contending for sure. Maybe a weaker team that wants a little bit of a boost that has a ton of cap room,
Chicago?
but he's not going to want to go there. He's 26, 27. He's in the prime of his career. You want to go lose?
Nope.
No.
So this is what contract negotiations are going to be
Yeah,
like. It's going to be
we'll
a bit of
see.
a reality check, I
We'll
think, for
see.
both Marner and his agent, as well as the Leafs
I
being
really,
like, how bad do you want this guy?
I believe Marner's agent is. I can't remember who it is, but I believe he has a history of letting his players walk to free agency.
Do you want to be on a winning team or not? Do you want to be on a team that realistically can win?
I get it. You want to maximize your earnings as much as possible, but when you're making money in the millions, you can sacrifice a million or two to win. If you're here for the money, the money is not an issue.
Are you
The money will never be an issue for you. You're
well?
set for life.
And are you playing the game for dollars and cents, or are you playing
Exactly.
it to win a cup?
Exactly.
You're already rich.
Sidney Crosby, I know I harp on Crosby a lot, but Sidney Crosby is 36, 37 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's willing to take a discount at that age. He's already won 3 cups. He doesn't need to do that. And
No,
Pittsburgh isn't going to. I don't think Crosby's deluded enough to think that Pittsburgh has a realistic chance at winning the cup.
no,
Right.
not in the next 3 years, 4 years.
So
Vancouver goal.
yeah. So that's just the example, right? If a guy that's a serial winner, probably one of the biggest winners in hockey history, 3 cups in an era where you have 30 to 32 teams, that's a winner. That's more than he has more cups than Lemieux.
That's sickening. Oh,
And that's
my
not to
God.
say that cup count is everything.
It's not everything
But
because Ovi has
yeah,
one.
Ovi has one, and he's the best goal scorer that's ever lived.
Yeah,
So
we were looking at Rocket Richard stats last
yeah,
night.
that's fucked. In the last 10 years, I'm sure people have seen this. I've seen it. I've seen it a couple times on social media. In the last 10 years, only like 5 guys have won the Rocket Richard. So it's like Ovi's won a shit ton. Matthews is a couple. McDavid's got one. Pasta's got one, and Crosby's got one. It's a very limited company.
Yeah,
But anyway, back to my point. If there are guys out there who have 3 cups, who are the best of their generation that are willing to take a cut, and he's still making it, 8.7 million is not insignificant.
you're in the top 50% of the top 1%.
Like it's not
You'll never
insignificant
hurt
money.
for money.
Yeah, like Crosby's not hurting for money. Marner, you have 0 cups. You already make almost 11 million a year. You're not telling me you can't say, "Give me Nylander's deal. Let's go win a cup."
And you aren't in the like it.
I understand the cap is going up. I understand that. But are you in it to win?
And you've already got such a resentment from the fan base
Exactly.
that it's like, where else are you gonna go, first of all? And
Yeah.
then do you want to be in a little bit of good graces if you do
Yeah.
want to stay here? Because if you ask for 14, and if Tree has an absolute stroke and gives it to you, you will be booed every single time you touch the puck.
Yeah.
Because you've just ruined the team.
Yeah. Especially if he plays in the playoffs like he has
And
always played in
and
the
then go to
playoffs.
the Nylander interview where it's like, I'm here to win a cup.
Yeah.
This I want to do this for a team that hasn't had
Yeah.
one in.
Do I think Nylander could have taken a little bit less? I think he could have.
Sure.
But he's not the one that got the big deal in the beginning.
Nope.
Matthews and Marner are the ones that got the big deal. Nylander took less than 7 million.
In the moment, I was like, shit.
Everyone thought that was a bad
Yeah.
deal when he signed it.
Yeah.
It turned out to be the best deal by a mile.
One of the
because
best.
the Tavares one aged really poorly.
Yep.
The Marner one was horrendous.
Yep.
The Riley one hasn't aged well.
Nope.
The only one that's half decent is the Matthews one, and even then, Matthews still hasn't produced enough in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But out of the 5 guys I've named,
Nylander's a gamer.
Nylander's the one that shows up consistently in the playoffs. Matthews has had moments in the playoffs where he's taken over games. Riley's had a couple moments. Tavares has had some clutch goals. He's had moments.
Yeah.
Marner has no moments. Marner has nothing in the playoffs.
Not in the last
All
5
5 guys
years.
need to be better.
Yep.
But Marner's the one that needs to improve the most out of the 5.
And you're coming in asking for 14
And you're
million
asking for
dollars.
$14 million. So that's if that's true. We'll see.
12 and a half will be happy. Honestly, even if you're flirting with 13, I think that's excessive.
I think that's way too much. Take 12. Let's go win a cup.
Let's go win a cup. Do you want to be?
I don't want him for 12. In all honesty, I don't want him for 11.
I get it.
But
He's not going. He can't do 11.
he's not going to go. He's not going to make less.
No.
So
you win a cup, you will never pay for another dinner in the city of Toronto.
which is completely. Isn't it hilarious how we say that to guys that are millionaires? You'll never pay for another meal. Oh, this guy's going to pay for a meal. Oh no, like
Air Canada will give you 50%
Yeah.
off your checked baggage.
yeah, yeah. All right. A couple other things we touched on: Matthews and Nyes coming back. Touched on Utah. They Leafs signed Alex Nylander to an NHL deal. He was on an AHL deal.
Really cool.
1 year, $775,000, and he gets
Cool
to play.
to see the two Nylanders.
He gets to play with his brother. It's
Yeah.
cool to see. His dad was there.
Yeah.
Was it Sunday night?
Yeah.
I believe it was their first game together
because it
Sunday
was
night.
after.
It was in Toronto, so yeah, it had to be Sunday night.
Because he got signed after. Because Domi
Well,
was out.
nice.
Yeah, it was after the
The
Nylander.
Nyes when they said Nyes is out, right? For all the people out there saying that, oh, remember when we were talking about when McDavid and Matthews were both out, and like everyone's saying like, oh, these teams are better with those two guys. You know what? It's not the Leafs weren't winning without Matthews because Matthews was out. The Leafs were winning without Matthews because Max Domi was out. Look how much better they are without
Oh,
Max Domi. Anyway, not to get off track. Yeah, good for Alex Nylander. He's been decent. Um, it's going to be tough. It's always going to be tough for him to
he's
keep
not
an
his brother.
NHL role because he's a skilled guy, but he's not enough of a high end talent to
Yeah,
get top 6 minutes, and he's not bringing other stuff
he's a little
to
skinny.
like enough of a level that he's going to be able to play third, fourth line role night in, night out.
Yeah.
But he could. Let's hope. I hope he proves me wrong.
Why not? Wouldn't it
Yeah,
be nice?
yeah, it would be great.
Couple of Swedes, couple of
Couple.
the reincarnation of the Sedins.
And I know that Nylander, Alex Nylander, turned down NHL offers elsewhere just to play in Toronto. He took an AHL deal to play in Toronto.
Take notes.
Yeah,
Take notes, Marner.
yeah, exactly. So this Nux Wings game headed to OT. Um, outside of that, the only thing I want to touch on was goaltending
Okay.
for the Leafs, for the Leafs' point of view. So basically, Wall has been really good the past couple weeks.
Very
He's
good.
back to his best.
Little in I don't put the slight hiccup late
Yeah,
last
none
night.
of those goals are on him.
No. Those are some incredible
Yeah,
shots and some unlucky
like
stuff
some
with the Timmins
deflections. Yeah,
deflection.
yeah. None of those are on him.
And
Um,
when it counted, even when they were making that push, he had that really nice save where he had to come out of
yeah.
his crease and greet the puck and
I
made a big save.
listen. I like Stolars a lot. I wanted to sign Stolars in the offseason,
Yeah.
but Stolars has never been a starter. Not that Wall has ever been a full time starter in the NHL either, but Wall's also super young,
Yeah.
so we need to give him a chance. Stolars has been in the league a while. I love Stolars. I still think it should be like close to a 50-50 split, maybe Wall just
If you can,
slightly more.
I
But
think start gearing. If you're gonna go with Wolves your guys, start gearing him up near the end of the season. Get used to like the
yeah,
pace of
yeah,
multiple games in a row.
yeah,
But what a privilege as a Leafs team to
yeah.
have goaltenders you can rely on.
Is this has to be the first time in decades that the Leafs are fully comfortable with the goaltending.
Sammy got absolutely microwaved last night, but he was
Yeah.
like 6-0.
But what was the last time you can say the Leafs are completely comfortable with both goalies being in net?
We were saying last night, like not since Belfour.
That you're completely comfortable. Like Freddie, I'm comfortable with the play, but you just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Whereas we know that Wall's had injury problems, but we're comfortable. We're okay because if Wall gets hurt, we have Stolars,
And then you got Hill to be in the wings.
and
If you
He'll
really
to be
need
in the wings. And I don't know. We don't know what's going on with Matt Murray, but if it came to it,
an option.
Matt Murray is a decent option.
You're playing San Jose. You're,
But
pl- you're playing.
listen,
You're playing Nashville.
listen. You put him in a situation where the Leafs are a lot better defensively this year. Who knows, right? The guy has 2 cups.
Yeah.
At some point, he's had game in the NHL.
When's the last time you played a
Yeah.
game in the
Anyway,
NHL?
if it gets to Matt Murray, it's not. It's
We're in
pretty.
far worse
Yeah, there's a lot more problems.
situation.
But yeah, I do believe. I sincerely believe that this is the best goaltending situation we've had in decades.
It feels
Because
that way
you
at
look at the
least.
past couple of years, it's Freddie, too many injury problems. Campbell came in and played really well, but he's more of a career backup. He just
Yeah.
kind of rode the wave a little bit.
He had a really
Uh,
great season and then
Mrazek came in for a year. That was a disaster.
I
Samsonov
didn't
came in
even.
for a couple of years. That was a disaster. Wall's consistently good when he's healthy.
Mrazek was a Leaf?
Yeah, for the year before he signed Chicago, yeah. For barely any time. He was abysmal and didn't play much at the end of the year.
Didn't
But
realize that.
yeah. Um my point being, I genuinely believe that if Joseph Wall can stay healthy,
He's him.
He is one of the best. He will be one of the best goalies in the NHL. Like one of the best 5 to 6, 7 goalies in the NHL.
Well, and like you mentioned, he's so young.
Yeah, for
Like,
especially for goalie.
yeah,
I think he's 25, which seems like oh he's not that young, but for goalie that's young.
to
Most
be
guys aren't
NHL ready.
starting at 25 as a goalie.
Yeah,
If you're in the NHL, you're a backup at that point usually, right?
getting some
For the most
experience.
part, there's a few exceptions.
Price.
Yeah, there's a few freaks, and Walls.
Even Bennington, when Bennington came in, how old was Bennington?
Bennington was older. Bennington was like 26,
Like, you
27, I think.
don't see a lot of guys come in
Exactly.
this young.
It's not. It's just not the way the position works. You need a level of maturity in net to play at this level, and Wall has it at a young age. I believe that Wall is one of the closest things we've seen to Carey Price. Calmness in the goal. There's no
That
panic.
is high praise.
There's no
That
pan-
is high praise.
There's no panic in his game. He's always squared to the puck. I'm not saying he's as good as Carey Price, folks. Pump the brakes. I'm saying style of play. He's one of the closest I've
Smooth,
seen to Carey Price.
smooth goaltender.
Yeah, and I love that in a goalie. I don't want to see flopping around here, there, and everywhere.
AKA Samson.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples, but for the Leafs, Samsonov for sure.
Not to pick on you too much,
Yeah,
Sammy, but
sorry,
I saw
sorry,
some
pal.
highlights from last night.
Yeah.
Giving the did you see the giveaway?
Yes, I did. I did see it.
Oh my
Yeah, I did see it.
Anyway,
Um, so the last thing I got, there's a little. We'll talk. We'll touch on this a little later. But there's a little bit of traction out there. Now, if this is legit or not, I don't know. But there's a little bit of traction out there with Team USA's goaltending situation.
mm,
So Swayman obviously has not played well. Oh, breakaway. Good save.
good save, Talbot. Oh, it's Huso
No,
in
it's
there
Huso
too.
in. Swayman is not
Um,
playing well.
no.
Boston as a whole is not playing well, but Swayman especially is not playing well. I think Hellebuck and Ottinger are pretty much locked in as the first and second
Yeah.
goalies there. They're been two of the best in the league this year.
So third.
The third goalie, obviously, if Demko was healthy, things would be a little different, but he isn't. So I don't think they're gonna think to bring Demko to this tournament. I know he is nearing a return here, but there is traction on Anthony Stolarz being the third goalie for the U.S.
Stop it. Stop it.
I know you love that.
Why not? Give him a shot. Have him join.
Chances are he's not going to play anyway.
No.
Yeah,
But it's like I don't know. I just like his
yeah.
attitude.
So my point of view is, if you're going to give Stolarz a shot, now that Wall is back to his best, you give Wall a shot as the third goalie because Wall's a lot younger, and you're kind of gearing up for the Olympics next year.
Give him some experience.
Give him a little bit of experience.
Maybe you play him
Now, very unlikely that if all the U.S.'s goalies are healthy, Hellebuck and Ottinger are probably there, and then one of Demko or Swayman are the third goalie at the Olympics next year. Everyone healthy,
Yeah.
in all likelihood, right?
Yeah.
But I believe that if you're going to give somebody else a shot because Swayman isn't playing well,
A boy out of St. Louis wouldn't be a bad idea.
Stolar's obviously getting the heat because um, he's played well to start the year, and Wall's been hurt for the most part. But in the past couple of weeks, Wall's played well. Realistically, I believe Stolarz has more traction. I'm just throwing the Wall thing out there. Do we think it's possible
No.
that Bill Guerin says this guy's playing good hockey? Swayman isn't.
I think it would still be a stretch. I think it's still a stretch just because like Swayman, if he picks it up, it's like it's night and day. I
Yeah,
still think he's so much better
yeah,
than Stolarz.
100%.
And I'm a
But you're
Stoli guy.
you're the guy who picked all your Four Nations face-off teams based off of recency bias. So I thought you'd be the one to maybe put into existence.
You know what? I'll buy into it. Give me Stoli P3.
I will personally say that if the U.S. is smart about it, your third goalie is probably not going to play. You want Swayman to be in and around the team because the chances are he's got a good shot at being on the team at the Olympics.
Just generating the chemistry,
Yeah.
being like
Oh, there you go. DeBrusque OT winner.
Nice shot too.
Yeah.
Him and Pedersen seem to have finally found some
Yeah.
chemistry.
They're figuring it out in Vancouver.
It's being there. It's seeing how the
Yeah.
team's playing, being in the locker room, listening to those
Hat
conversations.
trick too. DeBrusque hat trick on the OT winner.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Jakey.
We don't hate you anymore now that you don't play for Boston.
Yeah. Any player who goes to Boston, you just instantly bottom. Mitchell Marner goes to Boston.
Oh, could you imagine?
The
That'd be
the fans
hilarious.
would eat him alive,
Oh
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I think most likely Swayman for exactly that reason. Like
Yeah.
the long term. Would it be
Realistically.
kind of cool? Would it be cool for Stolars? Absolutely. I still think the value of being at the tournament around that environment for the guys who you're gonna presumably go with the Olympics, because
Yeah.
this downturn with Swayman, I don't think lasts
He
forever.
won't be this bad.
No. And so just getting that experience
Yeah.
is, I think,
I'd
invaluable.
agree. Um, that's all I got for the Leafs.
Um,
Anything else for you?
no. Welcome back, Matthews. I
Yeah.
hope you're doing okay.
Yeah. So a couple things, a couple off ice notes to touch on before we start. Obviously, we haven't recorded in a little over a week, so we're catching up. So obviously, the last time we recorded, the big news was Jim Montgomery's been fired by the Boston Bruins.
Bang.
The St. Louis Blues fired Drew Bannister and immediately hired Jim Montgomery.
And he'd been there for how long?
Bannister was the interim coach after Berube got fired last year. He got hired as the full-time coach in the offseason. So basically he's been there for like 21, 22 games and they fired him.
It just seems a lot.
That's harsh. That's harsh. But basically, so what's out there, if you look at what's out there, the Blues didn't hire Drew Bannister full time immediately after their season ended because they didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The day after Boston beat Toronto in Game 7 of the first round, the Blues hired Drew Bannister as the full time head coach. So they basically waited until they thought, because they probably believed if Boston loses in the first round, they're going to fire Montgomery.
Yeah.
And they were waiting for that because Montgomery was an assistant there. So he has a relationship, and it's out there that they wanted him, and they didn't waste any time. And it sucks for Bannister. It's a brutal way to go out. You've only coached 22 games as a full-time head coach, and you're gone. And it wasn't even like they were some like complete disaster of a start. They've slowed down. They had a solid start. They've slowed down a little bit, but like not bad enough that you're firing the coach after 20 games.
No. Nowhere near.
Yeah. So
Um.
yeah, unlucky for him, but St. Louis wanted their guy,
They really want Montgomery,
and
and I get that. Like
that's ruthless, and you got to do what you got to do.
it's a competitive
Yeah,
league.
it's Vegas-esque.
It's Vegas ass.
Yeah,
um. Yeah. We'll see what he does.
I believe he won his first game the other night. There you go. See what happens in St. Louis. That's Team Canada's GM. Ruthless. Don't hate it. Don't hate it at all. So other off ice stuff. There's a bunch of trades for
Ton of
a
trades.
random week in November.
A lot of picks.
So Pittsburgh has acquired forward Philip Tomasino from Nashville for a fourth rounder in 2027. Obviously, Nashville's mixing things up a little bit. It seemed a little strange because he's kind of a younger guy,
Mm-hmm.
and if you do want to rebuild, maybe you want to keep a player like that. I don't know. Pittsburgh doesn't seem to be tanking, as they should be, based on
It's still not a great situation, but they won last night.
they did, yeah, they did beat Calgary
Decent team,
handedly.
decent team to
Yeah.
beat.
Um,
Sid's still doing Sid things.
Tomasino was really good last year for Nashville. Obviously, it hasn't panned out for anyone in Nashville so far this year. I think it's a decent pickup for Pittsburgh, if I'm being honest. And you're only giving up a fourth rounder
Yeah,
if 2 years from now.
go ahead.
100%. It's a no brainer. Dubas winning a trade is pretty rare, so don't get used to it, Pittsburgh fans.
Little stray bullet there. Okay.
You got the remote? You want to put the Montreal Boston game on? Uh, yeah, it's a decent pickup for Pittsburgh. Anything to comment?
Um, just for Sid's mental health, I hope they continue to make trades that are half decent. I want to see him play as long as possible,
Yeah,
and I don't know. My heart goes out to him for how good he is and what
yeah.
he has to
We
work
touch.
with.
We're gonna touch on Sid. There's stuff that happened with Sid this week. We're gonna touch on.
Yeah.
So the other deals, both these deals just happened yesterday. Colorado has acquired goaltender Scott Wedgwood from Nashville for goaltender Justus Anunin and a sixth round pick.
Who wins that? Like,
I'm not
genuinely.
sure how Wedgwood moves the needle that much for Colorado. Both teams have goaltending issues this year, but I think Colorado's are more drastic because Nashville's goaltending issues aren't the only issue. Whereas Colorado is fine everywhere else on the ice.
Yeah.
Goaltending is holding them back, but they're still in a playoff spot.
Yeah. And
Whereas
and
Nashville's just brutal everywhere.
in Georgiev, like,
Also, Wedgwood is not playing the majority of games.
this is why it seems bizarre to me. It's you're exchanging backups.
Yeah. And then
And
Noonan's the younger
yeah,
of the two.
it just seemed the whole thing just seemed bizarre.
Yeah. It was a little
Where you're just like,
strange.
okay, but like, why?
Maybe Wedgwood has more of a pedigree in the NHL than a Noonan, but not enough that he's like considered miles better than a Noonan.
You're just kind of like, sure. I guess this happened.
We'll see. Maybe he proves us wrong and turns it around for them. But it seems kind of a strange trade for both sides.
Yeah, agreed. It's
Actually, it kind of works out for Nashville because Noonan's the younger of the two goalies, and they're getting younger in net.
yeah, and with the rest of
But if that's what you wanted to do, you
why we
traded Askarov in the summer because because he wanted to play in the NHL,
and
and then
frankly,
a quarter of the way into the season, you're trading the backup.
and we
You could
just
have said you're the backup now. You're going to play more games in the NHL this year.
you just went and signed a whole bunch of old guys too.
Yeah,
So unless you're like, okay, this is going to be our guy that we're going to have in 3 years,
yeah,
then it's just kind of like, okay, sure.
yeah. Yeah, kind of a doesn't really move the needle much trade. We'll see. Maybe in the future it pans out for Nashville. In the short term, it probably doesn't really do much. And the last deal, a lot of picks in this trade. Minnesota acquires defenseman David Jiricek and a fifth round pick in 2025 from Columbus for Damon Hunt, a first in 2025, a third in 2026, a second in 2027, and a fourth in 2027.
It's a lot of picks.
It's a lot of picks.
I like that.
David Jiricek looked really good last year. He hasn't played a lot of games so far this year. He's been a
Okay.
healthy scratch a lot on a bad Columbus team, which is a little interesting because it's kind of Columbus. Wouldn't you want to play your younger guys to get them to learn? You're not winning now,
No, you're certainly not winning now. Although
so
they've been okay. Monahan's been a monster.
they've been okay, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like it's not realistically.
You might make the
Yeah.
playoffs, maybe. You're not
And
getting out of the first round.
Minnesota has just locked up their second really good right-handed defenseman. Faber and Juracek. for years to come.
I like that.
That's pretty good. Bill Guerin,
Minnesota.
Minnesota, look out.
Minnesota is looking nasty.
Look out for Minnesota. Yeah, Columbus is hovering around 500. Yeah, it's a strange one. They did get a lot of picks back though.
I like the picks.
They got a lot of picks back. I don't really know anything about Damon Hunt. So I can't really comment on that part about it.
No, I just like the picks. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So your check gets a move to a better team. Good for him.
Kind of seems like
Maybe
a
he gets
win.
more playing time.
Seems like a win-win
Yeah,
for both sides.
yeah. Sort of, kinda. Because like I get you're getting a haul of picks, but there's no guarantee the picks are going to pan out.
True.
There's no guarantee. I think Yurchek has proven he could be a decent NHL defense, at least a decent NHL defenseman. We'll see. Couple more off ice things. Timo Meyer just suspended 1 game for his cross check on Zach Lutter.
Okay, I didn't see this cross check.
It was a little for it to be suspension a little soft to me.
If okay, because then you have the
If
Nylander.
you want to go look at it,
You have the Nylander cross check to the face. That
got nothing. Yeah.
was it. It was a penalty. That was it.
Listen,
Stared him down as he skated toward him and deadpan cross checked him in the
if
face.
you go look at the Meyer one, does he kind of catch him high a little bit? Yeah. There's not a ton of force on it
Okay.
for me. He kind of hits him light in the body first and then comes up and hits him in the head. Yeah, I don't see it as
Oh,
suspension worthy
we've got Brad Marchand on this.
on the screen.
That mug always just gets me going here. Um, I don't know. It seems like a weird year for refing in suspensions.
It's kind of just like watching it right now. He kind of hits him in the chest and then comes up and hits him in the face. It's a little high. If you're going to do a suspension, I think 1 game is more than sufficient.
He's already back.
Yeah, he's back. It was
Like he
earlier in the
scored
week.
last or got
Yeah.
an assist last night.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not like pissed off with the suspension. It's not the worst thing in the world, but like I don't unless you were like fully like eyeing the guy and go and cross check him in the face.
But this is more of an
It's more of just
unfortunate.
like it was a scrum. He catches him. It doesn't look great. It's a penalty. Move on. That's my opinion.
Okay.
What else? We got Evgeny Malkin and Nikita Zadorov both fined 5,000 each for their altercation on the bench. Did you see this?
Yeah.
They're swinging sticks at each other. Zadorov pokes him in the back, and Malkin turns around and swings at him and whacks him on, and he's sitting on the bench.
That's a crazy
It was
Russian.
hilarious.
That's a crazy Russian right there.
Yeah, that was funny to see. What else we got? John Cooper coached his 900th game this week.
Where does he rank all-time coaching list? He's accomplished a lot.
You like my opinion, you mean?
Yeah.
Uh, 2 cups in this era, back to back, 3 finals in a row. And
He's a really
his
accomplished coach.
only head coaching job is Tampa. He came in and was immediately good.
Yeah.
Was he the coach when they made the final against Chicago?
I
I think
want
he
to say
was.
yes.
I think he was. So yeah, um, he's got to be up there. Looking back on it, when it's all said and done, like if he goes out and he does well for Canada as well, he's the coach for 4 nations. I'd imagine he's probably the coach for the Olympics as well.
Yeah. Should be.
I don't know if they've announced that yet.
Not to my knowledge.
Possibly.
I don't know who else
I
you
don't know
would
if
go
that
with.
means he's on both or whatever.
You
But
bring Babcock in again.
oh yeah, like bet he'll ever get a head coach job, any coaching job in the NHL ever again.
He's not allowed near minor hockey.
Yeah, exactly. Um, very possible he's top 10 at the very
I think
least.
so.
At the very least.
Like to do what he's done in terms
Yeah.
of like one the dedication of one franchise. I always love that. I love the I'm going to dedicate my time here and I'm not going to bounce
He's definitely
around.
the best coach of this era.
And part of it's like, okay, well, you have to be good enough to not get bounced around, i.e.,
Yeah,
how you do in Montgomery.
yeah.
Um, but I think it's just really cool. And then you're right, like coming in immediately, getting accomplishments, back-to-back cups in this era,
Three
finals.
finals in a row.
Like
They're
that's
always in the playoffs.
and yeah, I like the systems. And even like last night's game, coming in down 4-0, being
Yeah,
able to put the right guys on the ice,
yeah,
play strategically with the timeout and the okay, we're gonna take this face off with
yeah,
our second line because we just want that red. Like he's just a really smart coach,
yeah.
and I think he's probably top 10 as well.
Off the top of my head of this generation, um, there really isn't much that anyone else I can think of that is better than Cooper. Maurice is probably the closest one, but he hasn't had enough like consistent playoff success
Yeah, he
for you
really
to
didn't have
say
much success until he got to
until he got to
Florida.
Florida in the well, no, he was Carolina's coach when they lost to the Wings like 25 years ago almost.
Really?
That was his first head coaching job.
How old is Paul Maurice?
I'm not sure, but he was young then.
Okay.
And then so that's a pretty good job taking that Carolina team to the final. I think he was a head coach then. And then he went to Toronto. He was in Toronto. Didn't really
Yeah.
work out there, but
No.
nobody really worked out in Toronto at that point. He was in. Where did he go after that? I believe he went somewhere else before Winnipeg.
Um,
Anyway,
doesn't matter.
it didn't really pan out. Winnipeg was he did
He had the
well.
brief stint.
He
Yeah.
did well, but then they never really had playoff success. And then Florida, two finals in a row.
Can't complain with that.
Yeah, if he continues this, and then Florida still looks really good. So if he
Yeah.
continues this success, he'll be the closest to Cooper.
Yeah.
Anyone else, like Brendan Moore's never won,
No.
and when it
And I
matters,
love Brendan Moore.
yeah, there's plenty of coaches that I really like,
You
but
just need more
you have
success.
to win. You have to get over the line.
Yeah.
That's how it's got to be.
That's when you get
Yeah,
how are you going to do small differences?
Sullivan's got two in a row with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Um,
But,
but even then, I would say sustained success. Cooper's got him beat.
well, and frankly, the amount of talent you had on that team in Pittsburgh.
Well, we have tons of talent on this Tampa team too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arguably more talent on this Tampa team. Not Crosby Malkin talent.
When in their prime.
Yeah, like peak Crosby Malkin. Maybe Kucherov is probably the only one talent wise that maybe comes close to Malkin. He's not touching Crosby,
No.
and even then, he's not touching Malkin. I don't think either.
No.
So, but
Point, Kucherov,
all around talent,
Stammer.
you have probably had more in Tampa than you did in Pittsburgh, but not at the high end wasn't there, and Tampa's just continued success. Where Sullivan is kind of like Pittsburgh. I feel like it's kind of gone. If Pittsburgh gets past the second round, they're winning the cup.
Well,
That's kind of like what it's been in Crosby's career when
yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah.
Outside of the first final, they made the first final against the Wings. They lost that final, and they won the next year. And I don't think they got past the second round again until they won the back to back. And I don't think they've been past the second round since then.
So if they win the second round, they win the cup.
If they get past the second round, they
It's
win the
gonna feel
cup,
good.
or at least make the cup. Anyway, not to get too off the rails.
Little tangent.
Yeah. Um, yeah, definitely. Looking back, like if you go further, I mean, Scotty Bowman is the best coach of all time. Cooper's going to be pushing top five.
Let's go, Cooper.
Right. A couple injury notes. Jordan Eberle is out for 3 months after pelvis surgery. Hopefully, he gets better quickly and is good to go for next year because
He's a leader in that locker
he's the
room.
captain. And Seattle, it doesn't look too promising,
No.
Seattle. So I'd imagine they'll miss the playoffs and just maybe shut him down for the year and
Yeah.
come back next year. Miles Wood back on IR again for Colorado. You don't like to see that with all the troubles they've had. And then Philip Hronik in Vancouver. It's not. It doesn't look like a good one. He's out week to week. It sounds like it's going to be pretty long term, which is
Lot of injuries
that's
this
Quinn
year.
Hughes' safety blanket there, right?
Ton of injuries
Yeah,
this
tons of
year.
injuries. On the other side of it, a positive part. Good to see Brock Besser back after that
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
Good to see him back. Hopefully he's okay and he stays healthy for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the off ice stuff I've got. On ice stuff. Um, Kevin Lankinen. When I wrote this down, he just won, and they're in Detroit. He just won the game in Detroit. When I wrote this down, he's 9-0. He's now 10-0. Kevin Lankinen is 10-0 on the road this season for Vancouver. Undefeated on the road. Vancouver's unbelievable on
Talk
the
about a
road.
saving grace to Demko being
Yeah,
out.
yeah, exactly. Because Shilovs hasn't been doing it.
No.
He kind of had a Shilovs kind of got a little better. He had a little bit of a better stretch
And
recently,
winning
but then
against
his last start he got lit.
good teams.
Yeah, yeah. But 10-0 on the road as a goalie you just signed just as a security blanket. He's not even.
Working out.
It's
You're
working.
looking pretty smart whenever
Yeah,
Scout
it's
got
working.
that.
Yeah. In Vancouver on the road, at home, not as good, but they're still in the hunt. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We talked about DeBrus. DeBrus just scored a hat trick today for Vancouver against the Wings.
And he started so cold.
Yeah, and he's
And
picking it up.
he's finally got his chemistry
And I
going.
believe he returned to Boston. It was his first game back in Boston the other night. He scored on his return.
Nice.
He's looking really good. Pedersen's looking better. Things are looking up
Yeah.
for Pedersen and DeBrusque. And
After that big signing,
it's going to
like
help a lot for Vancouver.
they spent a fortune on Pedersen.
Yeah, yeah, and that's big, and it's especially good timing because with the JT Miller stuff, so we
Yeah.
don't know how long JT Miller's out for.
Pedersen's
Hronik's out,
he's gonna need a
so
step up.
you need somebody to step up, right? Yeah, that's all I got there. Um, Lots of fighting this week. Not just fighting, absolute tilts, absolutely chucking them. So the first one is Olivier and Lomberg. The Lamborghini had a massive black eye. He got pumped by Olivier the other night. I believe it was Friday night.
Was it
Absolutely
Friday?
pumped. Absolute tilt. You should go watch it.
Okay.
Olivier versus Lomberg fight was an absolute tilt.
Olivier Lomberg.
Yeah. Absolute chucking him. And Olivier dummies him. The second fight I've got is Truba versus Josh Anderson, which I believe was Saturday afternoon or Friday
Truba can
afternoon.
throw him.
That was that they were throwing him in that fight, both ways.
You don't want to mess around with Truba.
No. So take your pick which one you want first.
Okay. I'm doing the Olivier one here. Let's see. Come on.
Just bodying the guy.
Oh, he's just feeding him.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I can't. The body shots.
Yeah.
I can't believe Lomberg stayed up on his feet that long.
Yeah. Massive black eye.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
And then the Truba Anderson fight. Go watch that one too. They're both chucking them.
There was no point where Olivier was losing.
He was all over him. The Montreal New York game. I think it was yesterday, but it might have been Friday
Okay.
afternoon, because it was American Thanksgiving, so there was a bunch of games in the afternoon on Friday.
Yeah, there was a couple 3 o'clock ones. Oh, come on. What's going on?
Rangers. No, it was yesterday. It was Saturday.
Okay. How'd this even get going?
They were swinging.
Josh Anderson. Okay, grab, feeling each other out. Oh, Anderson caught him.
Yeah, there's some haymakers back both ways here.
Okay, Truba's just off balance. He's getting worked. Reset. Truba's not done with him. Overhand right. But he's kind of getting worked. Oh, Anderson. Anderson cooked him.
There's some live reaction.
Anderson cooked him.
Yeah. Some absolute tilts though. Like you don't see tilts like that anymore.
No,
You don't see them like that anymore. Love to see it. Love to see it.
that's cool.
Um, the last fight before we touch on the fight. So we touched on Sidney Crosby. We're talking Sidney Crosby. Okay. Sidney Crosby this week became the 21st person in NHL history to score 600 goals.
You're a legend. You're a
And we
legend in
talked
the
about the
game.
guy not even opening the gate for Crosby after he put him on his back in overtime. Nobody could open the gate for the old man last week. This week, Crosby's out here fighting Kyle Connor.
Why are those two going
Those
at
two
it?
are fighting.
There was like I forget who was it. Someone cross-checked someone and then they got
Did
into
you
it
see the
in
fight?
front of the, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Not a great fight.
no, not a great fight at
Two
all.
talent guys who just pissed off at each other. I mean, it's kind of cool
Listen,
to see that. Like that was kind of one of the things with Iginla. Iginla was a tough enough guy. Oh shit. Iginla was a tough enough guy where like you would see him toss the body around.
but
With some of
Iginla
these
was a
like,
power forward.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Crosby and Connor and all that.
no.
Crosby and Connor. Listen, this has happened too much in recent history for Pittsburgh. You don't want Crosby fighting at all.
No.
But Crosby fighting at the age that he's at to
Extra
protect his
bad.
teammates when
Extra bad.
he's the one willing to take a team discount on this garbage fucking team.
Can someone fight for him?
Somebody else
We'll give
step
you a
the
Subway
fuck
gift card.
up. Step up. It's Sidney Crosby.
What kind of team culture do you have where Sid's having to fight at
Respect
37?
Sidney Crosby. Please.
It's baffling.
Listen, it's
Is the
gonna
only word that comes to mind.
there's gonna be times where guys are gonna go. Crosby just gets pissed, he's gonna go.
Sure, in the moment stuff.
But Crosby shouldn't have and shouldn't be the
It
one
should be
out here
maybe
protecting
once every
himself.
couple years.
Yeah. And in recent years it's happening too much. That's what I don't love it. We love to see the star guys fight. We love
Hmm.
fights, but we love to see the star guys drop the mitts and give her.
Just a little bit of added, like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're a superstar, but you're still a
Yeah.
hockey player with some
Exactly.
grit in you.
If a guy's got 600 career goals, 3 Stanley Cups, every time he plays for Canada, he wins. Just a serial winner, all the
The golden
scoring
goals.
titles and the trophies, and we're talking about probably one of the 5 best players that have ever lived.
Yeah.
And these young guys can't come in and protect him. I don't want you to make a comment about what's on the TV right now. I don't want to hear it.
Flashbacks to some very questionable Boston,
I don't want to hear it.
Toronto, as an ode to what was his name? Jack Campbell?
Jack Campbell.
What's the
Edwards?
Jack Edwards?
What are you talking about?
The announcer. They're doing an ode to the announcer who retired last year for Boston.
For this?
Yeah, that's what that highlight was
Oh,
for.
that
Yeah.
highlight, specific highlight. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to where we were.
Tangent.
Sidney Crosby should be fighting guys at 30. I think he's 36, 37. Shouldn't be fighting guys at this age.
Nope.
And there's nobody on that team that steps up.
It's just frustrating to be like, there's no D man who could have done anything.
There's no anyone.
There's no fourth line guy who.
There's no young guy out there saying, I need to keep my job. We suck. I gotta do things to
I'm
keep my
not
job.
scoring goals. I'm a shitty skater, but I'll fight for Sid.
I get Matt
How bad is that team culture?
Get Matt Rempe on the Pittsburgh Penguins.
He, line 3,
Anyone
line
touching
2.
Crosby? No, Matt Rempe's coming to fill your face in. What is Kyle Dubas? So that's not going to happen. Yeah, that's all I got there in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
More positive stuff out on the West Coast in San Jose. Jumbo Joe Thornton has his
Number retired.
number retired by the San Jose Sharks.
And he like just a really nice ceremony
Yeah, it
for him
was really
too.
well done. There's some nice stories. They had the
Yeah,
story of him.
and
I think
looking
it was
sharp,
Doug Murray.
looking real sharp in his little
Yeah,
hat.
he had the little
Love
nice
that.
little hat. Doug Murray telling a story about how he helped move in a homeless family into one of the it was like the team's house, and he said, "Don't tell anyone. Like, make sure nobody knows." And nobody knew until now.
Love that.
And then they were everyone no dry eye in the house, right?
Just a great guy.
Just a really great
Saint
teammate.
Saint Thomas, Ontario, small town.
One of the best players to not win the cup.
Yeah.
Just unfortunate that he never got his chance.
Loved him in Toronto. Just coming in,
Yeah,
veteran
yeah,
leadership.
yeah.
Um,
He just loved the game.
Icon of the game.
And he loved his team. He just treated his teammates very well. So good for Jumbo Joe. And Jumbo Joe is passing the torch to new Sharks, especially Macklin Celebrini.
Yeah,
This guy is a fucking gamer.
yeah.
Macklin Celebrini,
Coming back from injury,
listen,
lighting it up.
realistically, this is not happening. And I don't think it's going to happen. But Macklin Celebrini for Team Canada isn't the worst shout in the world.
People have been tossing around some names. They've been tossing around Cole Caulfield. I
Well,
did.
Caulfield's American.
Oh, who was it? The French guy?
Connor Bedard.
Right, Bedard. Sorry, not Caulfield. My mistake. I'm thinking just Canadian. Um, talking Bedard. Yeah, he's on a not great team, but Celebrini's been dominant,
Celebrini.
putting up points.
Celebrini's the scoring is there, but the whole game is there too.
Yeah, and last night or was it last night? I took in a San Jose game recently, and it was kind of cool to see the two-way play.
Yeah.
Um, I've
They
only seen a couple of Chicago games. Again, like there's only so much hockey you can consume in
yeah.
a week. Um, but his level of production is just incredible at 18.
Yeah.
Like that is incredible.
And if everyone remembers in the season preview, I told Jack that I believe that Celebrini will be a better NHLer than Bedard.
I may have bought into the
Yeah.
Bedard hype a
And
little
he laughed in
hard.
my face. That's not disrespecting Bedard. I think Bedard is going to be a very good player. He's going to be one of the better goal scorers in the NHL once Chicago figures it out. But Bedard's all around game will not unless he changes a lot. But he's also a smaller guy.
When you're thinking he needs to be a winger.
He needs to be a winner. He needs to be a winner. He's not a center. But Celebrini's all around game will translate to winning more than Bedard's will.
He needs to put on some muscle. He
Yeah.
needs to get a
And
little bit.
Celebrini's not a huge guy either.
No, he needs to get a
Okay.
little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But you can see how he's going to be a dominant force in the game already.
Yeah.
One season in.
Yeah.
On a terrible team.
Yeah. But the Sharks are buzzing.
Out of nowhere.
The Sharks are buzzing. I want you to listen to this.
So Foley.
The Sharks. Listen to the Sharks scores this week.
Okay.
Okay? Just let me pull them up here. San Jose schedule. So last night, we'll start on Monday night. So they were kind of winning loss and weren't doing too great. They beat Detroit in overtime.
Okay.
Then they got pumped by Dallas. They lost in the shootout to St. Louis. They lost to Buffalo. Monday night, they beat LA 7-2.
It's a lot of goals.
They lost to Ottawa Wednesday 4-3. But then back to back against Seattle Friday, Saturday, they won 8-5 and 4-2. So
they're putting up some goals.
7 goals, 8 goals, and 4 goals this week
so
in
19
games.
Goals.
Plus the Ottawa game, they scored 3.
Okay,
so for a team that's supposed to be really bad,
they're putting up some numbers.
They're putting up numbers. Obviously, you're letting 5 goals. Most nights you're not going to win, but they won that night because they put up 8.
Yeah.
So, like the defensive play is a little bit to be desired.
Is Vanacek's their starter, or isn't it Blackwood? Their duo?
I'd imagine they probably split time. Blackwood played Blackwood has started 15 games so far this year.
Tyler
So
Toffoli.
majority have gone to Blackwood, but San Jose is scoring goals in abundance.
I have nothing against San Jose, and after that ceremony with Joe,
Yeah,
sure, I'll hop on the
nice to see.
bandwagon a little bit.
Yeah,
Take a couple weeks on the bandwagon of San Jose.
nice to see out in San Jose. We want to see that team good.
You want
It's been
competitiveness.
fun when they're good. It's fun. The Shark Tank is a tough place to play when San Jose is a good team.
And more competition on the West Coast is
Yeah,
always good.
exactly. We wanted those three California teams, not so much LA. They've still been competitive.
Yeah.
Obviously not as good as they used to be, but they're still competitive at least.
Yeah.
But Anaheim and San Jose were one of the more dominant. They're big, mean teams in the West, and they've obviously that core got older, and they've been really bad. But both teams are getting young players in there, and the future is bright.
And making smart
Yeah.
decisions.
Okay, that's all I got there. Anything else on
Um,
San Jose?
not on San Jose, no.
Okay. In the East, they've just fallen out of a playoff spot recently, but Buffalo's buzzing.
Buffalo's doing okay.
Buffalo's playing
I
better hockey.
think they lost yesterday,
They did lose 3-0 to the Islanders. They didn't have the greatest of weeks. They lost to Vancouver in OT and they lost to Minnesota 1-0.
but they've been
But the
doing
week
okay
before,
broadly.
they won. They went on the California trip. We just talked about the California teams, LA, Anaheim, and San Jose, and they swept that. And then the week prior, 3 in a row against Ottawa, New York, and Calgary. There's a couple losses mixed in,
I'd be
but
pumped.
it's a lot better.
I'd be pumped for a really good Buffalo team.
And Buffalo's the goaltend if they have goaltending, which Lucan and Levi have done well so far this
Yeah.
year, they're going to be in the mix. They're in the mix, and well, I guess it's Reimer, but Reimer got released, didn't he?
Yeah.
He went on waivers. Somebody else claimed him. Who claimed him?
Um,
No, he was in Anaheim, and Buffalo claimed him again. That's what happened. So he's back at Buffalo.
he's back in
He's
Buffalo.
back at Buffalo.
Okay.
And I believe Levi. Did Levi go down? Possibly.
It would kind of surprise me.
Roster.
Are they just keeping Reimer?
I believe when they brought Reimer back, I think Levi went
Levi
down.
went down.
Yeah. And I brought Buffalo because we touched on the Bermuda Triangle a lot. Ottawa and Detroit are struggling a little bit.
Detroit just lost.
I would have, if you would have asked at the beginning of the season, and obviously we've touched on this a lot, and it's kind of ebbs and flows here. One team kind of Ottawa looked good for a couple of weeks there,
Now
and the other two are
they're
falling
looking.
behind. They've kind of fallen back. Buffalo's the one that looked good, looks good. Detroit at the beginning looked the best of the three.
Ottawa's back to struggling.
Yeah, Ottawa's back to struggling. Detroit's struggling a little bit. Um, Buffalo is playing a little better, and if Boston's going to play like Boston's playing, Buffalo's got a legit shot at the playoffs.
You still have talent on Buffalo.
Yeah,
Like they still are a talented team. Some young players. They've got some offensive D-men. They've got Tage Thompson. Like you can't count them out if they can figure out some team chemistry and just like I don't know, just play solid hockey. There's no reason they couldn't be in the playoffs.
low key Philly's in the playoff spot right now.
That is disgusting to me. I fucking hate Philadelphia. But like, I don't know.
Just low key.
Who's scoring? Tippett?
Who knows?
Konechny?
Yeah, probably just low scoring affairs, right?
Because their goaltending at the beginning of the
Well,
season was
Michkov.
with this shootout goal the other day.
Yeah, Philly's 7-2-1 in their last 10.
The ups and downs this
Yeah,
season has been just
yeah.
wild.
Konechny's got 30 points. Nobody else has more than 19. Michkov is second in scoring on the team.
Yeah, so
He's getting
Konechny.
healthy scratched every other night.
Was that for attitude? What was that even for?
There was something that happened off ice or practice or something, right?
Late tardiness,
Yeah.
maybe. Who knows? Speculate all we want.
Yeah. But Philly they're just gonna lock it down, right? That's gonna be how they win. That's all I got out east. For non-playoff teams.
Sure.
Do we want? I'll skip this one and we'll stay in the east. The New York Rangers are struggling.
And like we were talking about this morning, where you think it's kind of Shesterkin who's just been holding them up in defense.
Shesterkin has, and it's not just this year. This is a trend in the past couple of years. The Rangers take advantage of the power play. The Rangers' underlying numbers, and I'm not a huge analytics guy, but if you look at it, their underlying numbers 5 on 5 are not good.
Well, you're our analytics guy, so
But I'm not like big. I'm not like it's not everything I care about. Is
yeah.
what I'm trying to say. Um, like I don't do deep dives into it,
Hmm.
but Shesterkin bails them out a lot.
Is it that Kreider has 0 goals?
I think Kreider has 0 assists.
Is it 0
I think it's
assists?
0 assists. So basically, so they lost starting November 21st. They lost in Calgary, lost in Edmonton, lost to St. Louis, lost in Carolina, and lost to Philly. So what's that? 5 in a row. And after that trip, they did beat Montreal yesterday,
I mean,
which isn't too
everyone can
difficult.
beat Montreal.
Yeah, but after that trip, it was kind of put out there that the Rangers are looking to make moves to shake up the roster a little bit.
Any indication on
And
who's
two of the
on the?
players, Trouba's been on the list since the summer, so that's not really a surprise there. But he's people talked about him, but the surprising one a little bit is Kreider. You just mentioned Kreider.
Yeah.
It seems like Kreider's one of the guys on the
How old
block.
is Kreider?
Kreider's
Kreider's
not young. Kreider's
is
the
early
longest.
30s.
Kreider's been there the longest on the team. Kreider has 9 goals and no assists. He is 33.
Maybe it's karma for slashing Buddy across the face last year.
He's the longest tenured Ranger. So for them to say that the longest tenured player on the team,
Is on the chopping block.
yeah, that's tells you everything you need to know. Maybe like Kako, maybe is a name that could get floated out there. Um, like guys like I mean, Panarin's not going anywhere. Lafreniere is not going to go anywhere. Fox isn't going anywhere.
Zibanejad.
Sabanajad, you never know there. He's not young.
Ship him off. Where's he at in his contract? Because
That that
that'd
would
be
be
the
the thing.
thing.
Yeah. Do these guys have no moves? Which I'm not 100% on. How is Zibanejad doing this year? 17 points in 23 games. He's kind of fallen off a little bit the
What I
past couple
recall, he's
years.
doing okay.
He's not doing horrible, but it's more than just Zibanejad's point production was high,
Yeah.
so it kind of masks other things, and the rest of his game isn't.
It's not well rounded.
It's not crazy well rounded, right?
No.
So it's that's kind of what it comes down to. But he's not one of the names I've heard. Kreider and Strubo were the big ones. It's just what are you going to get back for guys that are at that age? Maybe a team that's wanting to make a run, but
Truba for Carlson? Why not? Why not?
so the Rangers.
Put a little physicality and
So the Rangers are just going to do what Pittsburgh did, just bring in another offensive defenseman, even though they already have one.
yeah.
Adam Fox is more than capable, way more capable.
Yeah, but you could have a sweep. Are
Oh yeah, listen,
you saying that Eric Carlson in a Rangers jersey floating around,
yeah,
scoring,
floating around is right.
scoring
Floating
some
around, you're right. He does
goals?
float. He does do a lot of floating. Not what you want in an NHL defenseman. But yeah, it would be interesting to see. I think both Kreider and Trouba have no moves, so they would have to waive it, at least partial. I'm not 100% sure.
And neither would have publicly expressed any like interest in.
Yeah,
No, I want
yeah.
out. It's just not
Um,
the hockey way.
so yeah, Trouba's actually said he wants to stay. I believe he's a free agent in the off season. Don't quote me on that though. So he's probably gone by the end of the year anyway. Um, realistically, and you're looking for something back. That they're not
Yeah,
looking for prospects back,
no.
right? So
This was
realistically,
supposed to be your win now team.
yeah. So if you're just looking to make deals to try and get better now, and Kreider's going the other way, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
Truba's going the other way, it's gonna be hard, especially Truba, because I don't. see how many teams are gonna go say, I really want Jacob Trouba at this point in his career, right? For the money he makes. Let's see here. Ryder has 2 years left after this year at 6.5 million.
Steep for someone his age.
Trouba still has one more year after this
At what?
at 8 million.
Oh,
So
okay.
pretty much they would have to bite some of the salary if they wanted to do that.
If you want to move him, you're
Yeah.
gonna eat 25% of
Like
that.
Zibanejad's playing on the third line right now.
Okay, that's
He's got he's on year 3 of 8 in an $8.5 million deal. And
who signed
he's gonna
this?
have a no move, so
Who signed that? Okay, sure.
right? So and you're gonna need you're gonna have to pay Shesterkin if you want to keep him,
Yeah.
and so you're gonna need to make room. So it'll
Didn't
be
they just no? They just re-signed Shesterkin.
no. He's a free agent this offseason.
Is he?
Remember they offered him the richest goalie contract ever,
Did he
and
not
he said
sign?
no.
I thought he signed.
No,
I
no,
thought
no.
it was gonna be like 12 and change.
We've talked about this.
Shit.
We've talked about it. So yeah,
Okay, I thought they had him
the
re-signed.
Rangers are, and you were telling me at the beginning
I
of the
thought they were.
season, Rangers are the best team in the Metro by a mile. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
No.
You embarrass me like
Yeah,
this.
I'm gonna embarrass you like
Oh
this.
my god. Here you are wearing.
You want to get real embarrassing? I can go real embarrassing if you want. I'll save it for later.
Take me to Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. I want to touch on.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about them after this.
Okay.
Celebrini's obviously. We talked about the Calder race at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't. A lot of the guys haven't really popped off. Will Smith hasn't popped off.
No.
Gauthier struggled. Michkov has actually done
Michev's
some
done
decent
okay. He's
things,
done okay.
but I believe if Celebrini keeps this pace, he's one of the guys.
Chewing.
But the favorite I would say at this point, the favorite for Calder is Dustin Wolf in Calgary.
Ah, okay.
Do we think Dustin Wolf can win the Calder Trophy as a goalie?
It'd be
If
unconventional.
Calgary makes the playoffs and Dustin Wolf is the starter,
He's the reason.
does Dustin Wolf win the Calder?
Um,
Or is it entirely dependent on how Celebrini does?
it's between the two. If Celebrini can continue this production, I think that it the trophy lends itself more to
Points.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, if Celebrini cools off and this was just like a hot streak and maybe
So
they
let's
don't finish
say
as strong.
I think Bedard had like 60 points last year.
Okay.
He won Calder. He was hurt for a little bit as well. So so Celebrini missed a little bit of time. So let's say Celebrini gets 60 to 70 points in whatever 70 games or
Do they
whatever it
make the
was.
playoffs?
That the Sharks aren't going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
Let's say Celebrini does that, and then Calgary makes the playoffs, and Dustin Wolf is the starter. And I'm
If they make the
based off of
playoffs,
that. If Calgary's making the playoffs, it's because of
it
goaltending.
is. I think
Who's going to win the Calder?
if that is the case, I think you do give it to Wolf.
You think so? I'd agree. What is Celebrini at right this second?
Points wise,
Yeah, let's see.
after
He has
missing,
14 points in 15 games, so he's just under a point per game.
it's pretty damn good.
He missed the 10, 12 games. So if he's in around the 70 game mark and he gets a point per game, he's a 70-point guy. And then, but Calgary makes the playoffs and Wolf is the starter
I think Wolf would have been more significant in dragging his team to a
to a
playoff
playoff spot.
position.
Exactly, because San Jose is not making the
No.
playoffs. Yeah, Wolf has been really good, let alone one of the best rookies. He's been one of the best goalies, period. He is 8-4-1. He has a shutout, 2.6 GAA, 918 save percentage.
Pretty good.
That's pretty damn good. Better record than Vladar,
What's his GA?
2.6. That's solid.
That's pretty good.
That's good. And the league wide save percentage is It's been a thing. It's been going down every year for the last like 6 years.
Really? I would have thought it's going up because it seems like you're getting some of these outrageously high scoring games.
Well, yeah, that's why it's going down.
GAA?
Save percentage, I said.
Oh, okay.
Save percentage, not GAA. Save percentage.
Yeah, like it used to be like a unbelievable save percentage was
Like the
like,
league average is under 910 now, and Wolf is at 918, and he's a rookie.
and it used to be like 9-3 a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
It
it's
used to be
like
way way better.
920 would be like the minimum, like the
Yeah,
average.
yeah.
Yeah. So if he's hovering around that,
If
not
the
this, not I'm not gonna go out and say he's gonna win the Vesna here. Like, don't get me wrong, but like he could
who
be.
who's this hobbling? We've got two men who are just
It's the 100th anniversary of the Bruins, the centennial game, and they're bringing out all the
all
legends
the
here.
stops.
Yeah,
Who is this?
is that Johnny Buchik, however you pronounce the name? Possibly. He's wearing number 9, so I think it might be. Um, yeah. So I just shout out Dustin Wolf. He's been really good.
Shouts out.
I hope Calgary makes the playoffs. I really do.
It'd be nice. Nas.
They're in a wild card spot right now.
I can
It'd
see.
be it could be realistically, if you're looking at the standings right now, all 4 Western Canadian teams could make the playoffs.
That'd be cool.
They're all four in right now,
I mean, honestly, just having, even if it's not the Leafs, any Canadian team who could potentially win,
except for the Oilers.
that'd be cool. Just have a cup in Canada again.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I got there. All right, so we want to talk. We want to talk about Nashville.
I don't want to talk about Nashville.
We're not going to talk
I don't.
about them at length, okay?
Okay.
This just sums up the season. Did you see this the other day? So before every game, the coach, whether it's the head coach, assistant coach, fills out the lineup card.
Hmm.
And Nashville can't even send out the right lineup to start the game. They got a penalty because they didn't send out the right lineup to start the game. It just sums everything up.
Blow it up and restart.
It sums everything up.
Blow it up and restart.
You can't now though. You
I
can't do that
thought
at
that
this
I
point.
thought they were gonna be so good. I thought, oh my gosh, you've got all
I
this
told
kind
you.
of like talent coming
I told
in.
you.
Maybe you have some depth scoring
We talked about it the
now.
other day, or yesterday. Stamkos and Marchessault are decent. They're solid signings,
But they're not drive the
but they can't
play.
drive their own play. They don't drive the play themselves. And if you don't have a player with them, Stamkos has guys around him that drive the play, right?
Yeah.
Marchessault had guys around him in Vegas that drive the play.
Hmm.
They can put the puck in the net, but they're not driving play. They're not that type of player, and Nashville's roster doesn't really have that type of player. Philip Forsberg a little bit. Outside of that,
Even him,
and even him is not.
he hasn't looked good this
It's
season.
not high level. It's a good level at
Yeah.
his best. It's good level, but it's not high level. Now, I'm not going to pretend and sit here and pretend that I thought Nashville was going to be this bad. I just didn't think they were going to be as good as people made them out to be. I thought they were still hovering around a playoff spot, like
Yeah.
hovering around a wild
I
card,
thought they
right?
were gonna go deep.
I Sorrow struggled last year a little bit, and it's gotten even worse this year. It's just not panning out, obviously, and that just sums it all up.
It's not where it needs to be.
And the refs don't even call that. The opposing team has to call it out for it to be called a penalty. So you might want to communicate and say, "Oh, this is the lineup on the lineup card. I guess I got to put that lineup out then." Just saying.
The hell's in the water in Nashville, Tennessee?
All right. How about a little bit of goaltending
Oh.
drama?
Okay.
Maybe not drama, but some fun things here.
Okay.
So Charlie Lindgren. So basically, at this point, it's safe to say Logan Thompson has taken over the number 1 job in Washington.
As he should.
Did we see Charlie Lindgren shoot the puck into his own net to give Braden Point a hat trick the other day?
You know, I'm glad I didn't stream him. I think they ended up still winning the game, if I recall.
Is that the easiest goal? Probably the easiest goal anyone's ever scored, but the easiest hat trick goal by far.
I just feel for the guy.
Like, poor guy.
Like,
But, like, wins the job away from Kemper last year.
it was playing really well.
Yeah. And then Thompson's come in. He's kind of stole the job. Yeah, they did win. They won the game 5-4.
Charlie Lindgren. I'm sorry,
Poor
buddy.
guy.
I'm sorry, man.
Point what the hattie off of that. Bumped him up, and the Rocket Richard standings too.
Let's go. It's a goalie goal. It's just not the
Oh
type
my
you
god.
want.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. I watched that. I was like, it literally looked like he was trying to do that.
Maybe a little under the table money.
It looked like he was trying.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Please don't sue me, NHL, for Charlie Lindgren. That was
yeah,
funny.
that was funny.
That sucks.
And then I believe Colorado. Colorado hasn't had a great week. They got pumped by Edmonton last night.
What was the final of that
I
game?
believe it was 4-1. And then
That's after Colorado's opened the scoring, if I recall.
no, they tied it.
Well, they tied it
They
at one.
tied it, but it was 1-1. They played Tampa on Monday and lost 8-2. And Georgiev or Gorgiev, however you want to say it, absolutely launched his stick. Did you see this?
No,
He was pissed.
I would be too.
Yeah, he was pissed. Launched his
You're
stick.
getting
Yeah,
embarrassed at that point.
yeah, tough week. Well, so last Saturday, Colorado beat Florida in Florida. Then they lost to Tampa 8-2. Beat Vegas in a shootout on Wednesday, but then lost to Dallas Edmonton in the back-to-back Friday, Saturday.
That's a tough schedule.
Tough week.
All four of those
All
games.
five.
That's tough.
That's Florida, Tampa. That's the last. So
Dallas.
Florida, Tampa, Vegas, and Edmonton are the last like 4 teams in the Cup final. Right?
Good test. You know
Florida's been in
what?
the final 2 years in a row. Tampa was 3 years before that.
Maybe a bit of a reality check. Maybe a bit of
Yeah,
a
maybe a
like.
little bit. They did win in Vegas, but like yeah, uh, they got Buffalo, Carolina, Detroit, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, so a little easier. Not no cakewalks outside of Pittsburgh, but
Sure.
yeah. But just watching Gorgiev get absolutely rattled.
Eagles is tough.
And listen,
They didn't pull him.
the Avs. I don't know if they ended up pulling him or not. That maybe that was the catalyst to make that deal with Nashville.
Anyone. We just want something
Yeah.
different.
Let's see here. Yeah, they did.
They pulled him.
Yeah.
After how many?
Gorgiev only let in three goals. I don't think he started the game.
So he was the relief guy.
He was the relief guy.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But still, to then also
And Noonan
fall
got the
without
loss. A Noonan started
So
the game.
Noonan started
So
then.
a Noonan let in 5. A Noonan's GAA in that game 10.
Save percent.
688.
Oh,
And Gorgiev isn't much better. 621 GAA, 824 save percentage.
who was it who we just saw who had? Oh, Fuso. Fuso was at a 494.
Yeah, for the season. Yeah, so Colorado
Well, 2 games.
just outside the playoffs right now. But they're a game above 500 with some of the worst goaltending you've ever seen. So if they can figure that out a little bit, maybe just get a little better.
If you want
And
to
they're
do something,
scary.
that needs to be solved.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean,
That's
tons
like
of
priority
time,
number 1.
and maybe they look in the trade market and go somewhere else,
See
right?
what happens.
Like there's guys like John Gibson out there that maybe you
There's a
do have a
compelling-
look, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is cap space. They don't have any cap space. But the Ducks might be willing to eat salary there.
Gibson's a nice little pickup
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
for any number of teams.
Yeah. Anything else?
NHL
NHL related?
Nashville get better. Embarrassing. No.
Uh, on a somber note, former NHL referee Mike Hasenfratz passed away this week, and I didn't see the cause, but he wasn't very old. So thoughts with his family.
Yeah.
Outside of that, so we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Landon Sim of the London Knights. This is the guy that has gotten suspended for some words.
Mennonite.
Mennonite. His first game back
Ironically was electric.
from the Mennonite suspension. We were talking about fights earlier in the NHL. Watch this fight.
Oh, I did see this
This is an
one.
absolute tilly. So good for him getting back out there,
Feed them.
feeding them after back to back just brutal suspensions. I'm not going to touch on it more. I'm not going to get into that more.
No, there's nothing more to be
Yeah.
said.
Okay. So a couple segments here. Well, we'll touch on this first. So the Four Nations rosters, Jack and I have released our rosters,
Yep.
predicted rosters one a week over the past month.
Some good and well built and structured, and others just want firepower.
Yeah. I wonder who's who. So the rosters have to be in by tomorrow, so Monday, and they will announce them on Wednesday.
Sweden,
Sweden,
Finland,
Finland
earlier in the day.
will be at 2 o'clock, so that it's prime time for that part of the world for those two countries. And then Canada, US, I believe, is 6:30. We will be live reaction.
We could live stream it on YouTube.
Yeah, live stream. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Live reaction to the Four Nations rosters.
I am headed home this
Thursday, yeah.
for the month of December. So the rest of the month is going to be like box in box on like Google Meet or Zoom or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna be apart for a few weeks.
So you won't get a blow up bear mattress in the corner.
I'm also going to Chicago for a week too.
So maybe we'll bank some content.
So that week we'll see what happens. But this week we'll do that Wednesday, and then the following week we can do something. I believe we're gone the week after that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like we'll see. I actually we might go to a Hawks game in Chicago.
Whoa.
So maybe see Bedard play a little bit. We'll see.
Who would they be playing? To look into it.
I have to. I know they have a couple home games that week.
Oh,
We
that's
haven't decided
cool.
which game to go.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we'll see. Tickets are definitely cheaper than Leafs tickets. I can tell you that because we mentioned this earlier. The 27th, we're going to the Leafs in Detroit.
Yep.
That's December 27th. So I'm thinking. So
Tweet
we
at
have
us.
this coming week. We'll record Wednesday live reaction to the Four Nations.
Yep.
We'll kind of start a little earlier to touch on Sweden and Finland, and then we'll have the live reaction to Canada, US, and then maybe touch on some NHL stuff while we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Leafs play that night. Maybe we have a little bit of maybe the first period watch along for the Leafs game.
That'd be cool.
And then the following week will be box and box. Jack will be back in Waterloo. I'll be here. The week after that, I'll be in Chicago. So maybe we take the week off. Maybe we figure something out. We'll see.
Release some quizzes.
Yeah, maybe we drop some of our quizzes. We'll see.
AKA.
Well, I don't. You mentioned the name last night. I can't remember it, but it was good. I liked it.
Should I say it?
I don't even remember what it is.
Okay.
The PC police might come out, but
we gotta see if this is.
we can just edit it. Just say it.
We'll see if this is on brand.
We can edit it out.
No. We'll discuss after.
Okay. Okay.
We need to make sure the connotations are all kosher.
Okay. So that week is a maybe, and then the week after that is the week of Christmas. You're still gone, but I believe you're coming back for the Leafs game in Detroit. So maybe we hold off that week until the weekend. We record after the game.
Okay.
And then you'll be back after that. So we're good to go. So just a couple weeks.
We'll get Donnie in here.
Get Donnie in here. Yeah. So our girlfriend's dad is coming to the game, and my dad is coming to the game as well. Maybe we have a little bit of content at the game too.
That'd be fun.
Maybe we release a little vlog or something. Anyway, back to the formation stuff. So yeah, live stream Wednesday. We'll be on between 6 and 6:30 to touch on Finland, Sweden. A couple NHL things, maybe the Leafs game. The Leafs play Chicago Monday night, and then we'll watch the live reaction. We'll compare teams. We'll see who had more players right on their rosters between the two of us, and maybe watch the Leafs game a little bit.
This sounds like a blast.
Yeah, Jack's leaving the next day, so
Yeah.
okay. Last thing, hockey wise, we have played. So we are now officially at the quarter. We have played a quarter of the NHL season so far, officially.
Just passed.
Just passed. Who are the Stanley Cup contenders at this point in the NHL season?
I think the strongest contender is probably Dallas. I think is up there.
Florida.
Florida is up there. I don't see any West Coast teams that are super standout.
This is what I would say. I would put it into tiers. I would put
Okay.
true this is their window cup contenders.
Dallas, Florida.
Dallas and Florida.
Um,
Do we put Winnipeg in that?
feels like it. Feels like it, but it's a maybe. It's a okay. Everyone's high on them from the start of the season. They seem to maybe be cooling off a little bit, which is probably due. But I still, yeah, they'll go far. Are they a cup contender? Absolutely.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say: the true favorites will be Florida and Dallas coming in. But I think there's a decent amount of teams that there. If the Leafs are going to play this sound defensively, the Leafs are in the mix.
I don't want to get too high on them, but it feels good.
Carolina, the way they're playing is in the mix.
Jersey,
Jersey, like a low end.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen enough from them yet.
Vegas.
Vegas is in the mix. If Colorado and Edmonton get in, which it seems like both will at this point.
Just because they're division.
Well, different divisions. Colorado's in the Central. But Edmonton, yeah, the division they'll probably most likely get in. If Colorado and Edmonton make the playoffs, who knows? Who knows, right? There's too much talent.
I don't love either of their chances.
No, but I'm not saying. But I'm saying an actual Edmonton was a game away from winning the cup last year.
Yeah.
And if we were having this conversation last year at a quarter way through the year, Edmonton would be in the same boat.
Joke.
Even worse.
Worse. Easily worse.
Yeah. And we would have been saying the same thing, but they ended up being a game away from winning the cup, right?
Yeah.
And Colorado won the cup a couple years ago. They're still in the mix. Vegas is still in the mix. Vancouver, I don't know if Vancouver's quite there yet.
I don't think so.
I don't know if Minnesota's not there yet.
Maybe they do something.
Listen, I don't.
Maybe they get out of the first round.
No, but I'm saying cup contenders, true cup contenders. Listen, it's the NHL, so if you get in, anyone can win.
Yeah.
But true cup contenders, I'm not ready to put Minnesota in there. I'm barely ready to put Winnipeg in there because we haven't seen anything from them in the playoffs. Just like Toronto, I'm not 100% ready to put them in there.
Regular season is not.
Yeah, exactly.
It goes out the window.
I don't think you can completely count Tampa out. I don't think they will, but because of the experience in that room, know-how, you can't completely count them out.
And just straight up, they still have really good talent.
Yeah, exactly. And if Vasilevsky's in your net and he's playing well,
you get one hot goalie coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even need to matter who is on your team.
So they're not. I will never say that Tampa's completely out of it until this core is
dismantled,
gone, or way too old to compete.
Yeah. No one else pops out at me.
Yeah. The way the Rangers are playing right now, I would say no.
Say no.
But again, if they just get in and Shesterkin gets hot, you never know.
Yeah.
But see, NHL, so
And it's 7 game series in
Yeah,
the
you never know.
playoffs.
You never know. Just get in. Just get in the playoffs. I would put Winnipeg up there right now because they're playing so well, and Hellebuck.
Playing up.
Obviously, they need to prove themselves in the playoffs, but Hellebuck is probably he's already a two-time Vezina winner. He's probably going to be a three-time after this year.
If he even stays on par for what he's doing right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. So if he can play like that and not play like he did in the playoffs last year, Winnipeg's in the mix.
Yep.
I think Vegas is in the mix. Dallas is for sure in the mix. Florida
Dallas
is for sure
Dallas
in the
has a
mix.
very good shot at winning a cup.
If Martin Necas is going to lead the NHL in scoring all year, and Carolina has city goaltending, they're in the mix. I know they haven't got over
Who's
the hump
in
yet.
net there?
Well, Kochetkov is for now. Freddie's out.
Right. And Kachekov's hurt right now too.
Is he? Oh yeah, you're right. He
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
He's day to day at this
Spencer
point.
Martin's been playing quite a bit recently,
Okay.
and then the Leafs, a lot better defensive play, steady goaltending. Not saying, don't come at me, people. Don't come at me saying, oh, that's biased, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying the Leafs are the number one cup contender. I'm just saying they're in the mix.
They're just looking really nice right now.
Just the style of play, if it's excuse me, if they are successful with it all season, it'll translate better to the playoffs. Better goaltending. I'm pretty
They
confident with
they've
either guy in net.
with the system they've adopted and how
Yeah,
comfortable they're finally looking with it and the success they're generating with
yeah,
it, this style of play will translate better into playoff hockey than the previous system
exactly.
under Keith.
Okay. Um, so we got our segment and we have non-hockey related stuff. What do we want to do first?
Let's do non-hockey related.
Look at my shirt, people.
What do
We
you
suck. Michigan football sucked this year. But we went into Columbus, Ohio against the number two team in the nation. And Ryan Day is going to sit here. Ohio State head coach Ryan Day is chatting all this shit and acting like he's hot shit. 1-4 against Michigan. Michigan barely above 500 beats Ohio State yesterday.
boom?
We love to see it.
Was there fights?
There was a massive brawl after the game. The Michigan players planted a Michigan flag on the logo at half, and the Ohio State players didn't like it. The
Um,
cops came in. They were pepper spraying people. It was a
true
little
college
insane.
game
We
day.
love to see it. Maybe not the pepper spraying part, but the scrap
Coyle just got a
was
signal.
fun to watch. Go Blue,
Oh, it's
uh,
McAvoy.
McAvoy. There you go.
A little
The
wraparound.
guy that wouldn't have made Team USA for you if he wasn't already on the team. Go Blue. Fuck Ohio. That's all I've got on the subject.
In every aspect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you got anything non-hockey?
Non-hockey related. Drop the tariffs.
Drop the tariffs.
Drop
We're
the
not. No, no, no,
tariffs.
no, no, no.
Drop the
No, no,
fucking
no, no. We're not.
tariffs.
We're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. No
No.
politics, people. No politics. I don't care
We're
what
not a
country.
political
I don't care
show.
what side you're on. No politics.
No, this is everything. It's been a good week.
We both had little trips to Toronto last
Yeah.
week. Mine was all pleasure. Jack's was a little bit of pleasure, a little bit of work.
Yeah.
How was Toronto? I never asked you. I didn't see
Um,
you until today.
if you're ever
Yesterday.
if you're ever just like hanging out, you're going to a Leafs game, check out Kelly's Landing. Kelly's Landing, it's right up from Union. It's like a I don't know 5 minute walk from Scotiabank. It's they serve some good foods. Good place to hang out.
The restaurant that you guys recommended for us that we went to, the little Italian place. What was it called?
Nervosa something.
Unreal.
It's phenomenal Italian
Unbelievable.
food. We'll
Unbelievable.
include it in the
Reasonably priced.
description. Yeah, if you have a date or you're just going with somebody, for two people, you can get an app. You can get a glass of wine and each get an entree for like $80
Yeah.
for
In
Toronto
Toronto, that's insane.
for some of the best Italian
Yeah.
food that you're gonna come
Yeah.
across.
Yeah. And we went to see Sebastian Maniscalco Saturday night.
Shout out.
Probably Not sure I've ever laughed that much in one period of time. So
Um, there's a
fun
beautiful,
night.
beautiful Mexican restaurant next to the One Hotel. Check that out. Highly recommend the King
Jack's a
Cinnamon.
foodie, in case people didn't know.
Love it.
He's a big time food snob.
Love it.
If it's not like the highest of quality, it's shit to him. So
And then Bisha Hotel, Monday night martinis, $11 for a martini. Not
he was
bad.
living in luxury. The company he works for,
They were treating
they
us
weren't
well.
they weren't skipping on the cash.
And then locals only. Shout out to a sick bar, another sick bar in Toronto.
Holy shit!
It was a hell of a Monday night. It was a bit of a bar crawl.
Holy shit!
Shout out to my manager who
Yeah,
paid for dinner.
there you go. If you
Um,
didn't pay for it, that's a win. Doesn't matter how shit the food is.
exactly. But yeah, Toronto's a great city. It's expensive, but like if you've never been before, go check out Toronto.
It's cool. It's cool to go for a little while. I wouldn't want to live there. I know Jack lived there for a little bit. It's a little bit of a
We
nightmare.
moved for several reasons.
Yeah. If I was rich, maybe I'd move to Toronto. Just to go to
There's
Leafs
pockets
games.
that are really really nice. The Summerhill,
No,
Roseville
the
area,
traffic is enough to drive me nuts. But
even Midtown. We
yeah,
we lived at Yonge and Eglinton
yeah,
for a year, and that was if we were to go back, I think we'd go that area again. It's a really nice kind of compromise between the Toronto aesthetic and like restaurants, stores, like, but still not insane traffic and
yeah,
insane, problems in the streets. Unless you're on the subway,
yeah,
the TTC, you might get stabbed. I don't know. I've seen some sketchy shit on the TTC. Let me tell you.
yeah.
Where my sister lives, there's a parking garage next to it. So for the another goal, we got this one. Pasta.
Pasta.
Nice. Here's hoping Zaka's got an assist. Um, there's like a parking garage, and we parked there when we were going to Santa Claus Parade. You walk through these doors, and then you walk up these stairs, and then you're onto the street. Three crack pipes, and you've got needles, and the thing with Toronto, the whole city smells like piss. The whole city, doesn't matter where you are, smells like piss.
Growing endorsement for people to go to
Oh,
Toronto.
but the food, once you're inside, you're
Yeah.
fine. It's just outside, it's disgusting.
Well, when you go in the winter, it kind of the cold kind of distracts you a little bit.
Yeah, they cleaned up the city for Swift.
Yeah, true.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Suddenly, we found the money to solve a
yeah,
homelessness
yeah.
problem. But hey, we're not political. We're
No
not political.
politics. No
Okay,
politics. Oh, another one. Three
three. Oh,
nothing.
they're running away.
Holy
They're
shit.
absolutely destroying them.
Anything else? That's all I got.
No, that's good.
Lions win on Thanksgiving. Quick shout out.
Shout out Lions. Almost gave it away.
Almost gave it away. Brutal clock management by Chicago. Their coach got fired. Sorry if it's a little dark in here. The light
It's
burnt
dark at
out,
like 4:30
and
now.
it's like 4 in the afternoon, and
It's 4:40.
yeah, and it's already dark. So it's not our fault.
We're going to dinner later.
We're going to dinner soon.
Check out some Christmas lights.
Okay, our segment. Let's hear it.
Ask AI.
Ask AI.
Let's pull it up.
Fact check, and maybe get something from this century. Maybe.
Okay.
Goalie change. Montembeau's coming in.
Yeah.
3-0 with 7 minutes left in the first. St. Louis chewing him out on the bench.
Okay, so you want one not from the 50s?
Well, it can be from the 50s, but it's got to be like something I can get realistically.
Let me read and you see if you want a different one.
Okay.
Who is the only player to win the Stanley Cup as both a player and a head coach in back-to-back seasons? So went from a player and won, and then became a head coach and won again.
Um, I think I might know it
Okay,
pretty quickly off the bat. I believe it's Toe Blake.
you're correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
1948-49, he won with the Montreal Canadiens as a player. Then became their head coach in
Yeah.
1950-51 season.
So he didn't play in or coach in 1950.
Sounds like not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Great. Instant answer.
Do we want to do another one?
Yeah.
A little more difficult. See, that's like if it's like a bigger name, then I might be able to get it right. But like, let's mix it up a little bit. They're all from the 1950s, 40s, 50s here.
Okay. Okay, here's cool. You
All
you
right,
might know this one. This
all
one
right.
seems obvious. Who's the only goalie in NHL history to score a goal in both the regular season and in the
And in
playoffs?
the playoffs, okay. So goalies that have scored goals a lot, like a decent amount, are Brodeur, Hextall, and Billy Smith would be the three.
Okay.
I don't think it's Brodeur because of the era he played in. It
Okay.
was a little later. Billy Smith and Ron Hextall, probably the most psychopath goalies that have ever lived as well. I'm going to go. I'm going to say Hextall.
Final answer?
Yeah,
1997. Martin Brodeur.
Martin Brodeur. Okay, okay.
Scored a goal in the regular season,
Yeah.
97, and then another in the 97 playoffs.
Does it have to be same season, or does it
It
just
didn't
end?
it didn't really
Didn't
specify.
specify. I mean, I was close. I had him. He was in the mix there.
And according to this, making the all-time leading goalie scorer.
Yeah, yeah. I knew he was up
That's
there.
cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected any goalie in the playoffs.
No, I didn't expect that either. But I just thought I remembered Hextall scoring in the playoffs, but I guess I was wrong.
Like that's just fun. It's
It's
just fun
fun,
to
yeah.
know. Who holds the record for the longest point streak by a rookie in the NHL history?
Longest record by a rookie, long point streak by a rookie in the NHL regular season. Can I
It
get it like an era?
it is the 2017-2018 season.
Okay, well, straight up one season. So 2017-18. So Matthews was a rookie the year before. So who was the number one pick the following season?
And I'll give you it was a 12 game point streak.
That doesn't really do anything for me,
No,
but
but just context, guys.
it's okay.
Matthews was
Um,
season before, so it's not Matthews.
McDavid was the year before Matthews, so
Yep,
it's not him.
not him.
Who was the first pick after that? Was Heishier the first pick that next year? It was around that time. I don't think it was him. I'm just trying to narrow down what draft it
Yeah,
was.
because then you can start working your way
That
back.
it's going to be tough to remember what year is which, though. 2017, 2018. Washington beat Vegas in the final that year. Who would have been a rookie around that time? That was a stud. So you get a conference,
Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference. Okay, let's think. Try and think of. Lafreniere wasn't there yet.
Wait, sorry. Bobby's real name is Robert?
Well, yeah. Everyone's name that's Bob is
I
Robert.
thought it was actually Bobby.
No.
Okay.
Um.
He still plays for this team.
Okay. East. I'm just trying to rack.
You get two more questions. You asked for the conference. We gave it to you. You have two more hints you can ask. Yes, no questions. Or I guess like one word answers. Pasternak
Still plays for the team.
still plays for the same team that he got this point streak with.
Does he play for an American team?
He does.
I figured. That doesn't really narrow it down much, but. Hmm.
So it's not a just destroying Montreal. Let's see here.
Not a Canadian team, so it
Not a
can't be
Canadian
that
team.
guy.
Zarka did pick up an assist. Winnipeg is beating Dallas right now, 1-0. Columbus is beating Chicago.
Is it in? Does he play in the Metro?
Let me double check. I believe so. Um, yes, he does.
Okay. Carolina, Columbus, Philly, Pittsburgh, Washington,
Mm-hmm. And then you got all the news.
and the New York and New Jersey.
I
Laugh,
wouldn't have thought this guy.
Laugh wasn't there yet. You wouldn't have thought this guy.
No, maybe it wouldn't have been my first guess.
I want to say that. I'll toss it out there. I don't. I think he might have been. Maybe he didn't play in the NHL right away though. I'll go Travis Konechny.
It was not Konechny.
He might have been a. That might have been too late for him. He might have been a rookie earlier.
Do you want to know?
I'll let me get another
Okay.
guess. Venture another guess. I didn't think it was him, but it was all I can think of.
One more hint.
Sure.
Do you want me to give you like a range of teams?
No.
Do you want me to eliminate any of the teams?
Just whatever hint you think. Don't make it too easy.
He plays for one of New York, New Jersey, or New York.
Okay.
Some talented guys there.
Who would have been?
Talk us through your thoughts. What's going through the gears right now?
Was Jesper Bratt in the league yet?
And did he have a 12-game point streak?
And did he have the 12-game point streak? I'm trying to think. I believe he was after Heishier, and Heishier would have been a rookie around that time, so I don't think it's Bratt. I don't think it was Heishier either, because he didn't really do much as a rookie. The New York teams, the Islanders, I can't really. Barzal was not a rookie then. He was a rookie long before that. Not long before that, but before that. I know Barzal was really good in his rookie year, but I don't think I think he was earlier. The other than that, the Islanders, I can't really think of anyone else in the Islanders that would have been like nasty as a rookie at that time. That still plays for them now. The Rangers, like I said, Laugh, and Kako are too young. Who else on the Rangers? Heedle, maybe? Fnair,
Give us a
no.
shot. Give us a shot.
I'll go with Heedle. Philip Heedle. I'll try Broad again. No. Okay. Who is it?
You sniffed it out.
I sniffed it.
It was
It
Barzal.
was Barzal.
So he was selected
Okay.
in the first round in 2015, but he didn't actually play his rookie season until
Yeah,
2017.
I knew he was drafted a lot earlier. I knew he
Yeah.
didn't plly right away, but I thought it was
So he won the
earlier.
Calder Memorial Trophy as
Okay.
the NHL's top
Oh,
rookie
there
in
you go.
2017,
I was
2018,
close.
12-game point streak.
I was close. So
You
what?
sniffed it out really well.
Yeah. So Toe Blake, I got Toe Blake right.
Zero hesitation and first guess, yeah.
I got the one that's like almost 100 years old, right? 80
You
years
sniffed
old.
out Brodeur too. You knew it was
Brodeur
one
was
of three.
close, and Barzal was close. Not bad.
No, not bad
Not
at
not
all.
terrible. All right, folks, that's all we got for this week, I think.
Yeah. We'll see you again Wednesday with
Wednesday,
the live.
live watch along
Yeah.
to the Four Nations
This is
face-off
gonna be so
rosters.
cool.
It'll be
And
fun.
I said this last night. I'm most eager just to be like, are they releasing full lines or are they just doing the
No, it'll be
roster?
lines. It'll just be the
I'm
roster.
so
Yeah.
excited to see who plays with whom.
Yeah, that's you're not gonna know that until you
No,
watch the games, right?
that's
That's yeah.
I'm really excited.
Maybe practices before that, but yeah, it's gonna be.
Well,
You gotta wait till February for that.
until Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in. Like,
Yeah,
subscribe, engage with us.
yeah.
Please drive engagement. Um, and
Tell
go.
us, tell your friends about us,
Yeah, why not?
and tell us what you think we could be doing better.
And go puck yourself.
Yeah. Leafs have a busy week this week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. 4 games this week. So
We'll finish this period. Boston just finished period one against the Canadians. We'll catch period two, and then we're going to dinner.
yep.
It's dark. You can barely even
It's
see
dark. You
us.
can't see us. We're relying on the TV to generate light.
Okay. One Mississippi,
You
two
like the Ducks hat
Mississippi.
too. I hope people